Welcome to 5 Star Weekly. A sneaky good finish to the latest match, transfer rumors abound, and a transfer inbound. We get into all that and more coming up. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. Welcome to the show, 5 Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Michael. And at United, we pulled off quite a stunning finish, but yeah, we'll get into the performance, the every little bit in between. But of course, we also have a bunch of transfers to talk about in terms of rumors and a new transfer itself. But before we get into all of that, we must give some shouts out to our loyal Patreon fam. Most notably, Gavin, Jordan, Niall, Andrew, and Chris. You guys are legends. But yeah, some magic on Saturday night at the Benz, and a 2-1 win where, man, it really seemed unlikely. And yeah, we got the go-ahead goal, but unfortunately, you know, we were separated by a half that yeah, started auspiciously, you know, ended well in the first half, started off very suspect, one could say, in the second half. But, you know, a first half that we had our chances to a degree. I would say this. They're not really chances if they don't really land on a player's foot or head, but, man, it's like players are kind of generally... They should be in the area. Some players should be crashing the box, but it's just nobody home in the box. Or if they are home, they take 1, 2, 3 too many touches, and the chance is gone. So is that really a chance? I mean, I think it is, but you know, it's these half chances, these you know, full-on chances that just aren't capitalized on. And also our composure in front of goal. It's the tale of the season, but you know, we were able to you know, get a good team goal you know, to finish the half. But yeah, this first half, I mean, I called it listless and really honestly not that exciting. But you know, how did you find the that first half?
Yeah, it was a little boring outside of the kind of the fireworks at the very end. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's interesting that we go from having terrible service to our strikers and then, you know, Yorgos leaving, and all of a sudden now we're having some pretty good service that we don't have the talent now in order to put those home, which is a little ironic, but it is what it is. You know, you cut off one head of the hydra, another one pops up. So I don't really know if we're going to continue to see, you know, these balls being put in the way that they have been if we get a new striker in that can continue to do that. Or are we going to see, you know, it going back to being lackadaisical, not so great, you know, less than our standard in terms of service once we get a new striker in? I don't know. Who knows? It seems like it's one thing or the other or nothing at all, and it's just very perplexing. But whatever that case is, we are getting decent service now, and if our guys could just get, like you said, in the right place at the right time. The balls were teasing. They were right there in some cases. There was 2 players in some cases that should have done something when a ball goes teasing right in front of the mouth of goal. But alas, inches away, moments away, just a little out of pace. So hopefully we can get a little bit more clinical with those. I mean, maybe it takes a little bit longer for our strikers to readjust and get ready. I mean, obviously it takes time for our wingers and stuff and our fullbacks to get used to the pairings and different play styles of our new strikers and different formations we're using. So that might be a little bit of it as well. And then when the new striker comes in, it'll be like another adjustment period. So, you know, it's, again, a lot of influx, and it's a little annoying to see, like, oh man, Brooks is putting in some solid balls right now, and our guys just don't have the quality to really do anything with it. It stinks seeing just, like I said, inches and moments, and that was unfortunate in the first half.
Indeed. But also, you know, speaking of inches and moments, Well, there was a VAR call that went our way, and it's seemingly looking like our luck is turning around with referees and VAR because, yeah,
A
this
lot of
one,
things. Puck luck too. I mean,
yeah,
just weird things that typically don't go our way are going our way.
yeah. So I'll take luck over being good, but it is still you want to see, these things kind of balance out to some regularity instead of just chaos, just utter chaos. But yeah, the VAR call, I mean, essentially what looked like to be, a goal that's very much, in every sense of the word, looks like an Atlanta United conceded goal, where, yes.
Which just shouldn't happen. Like,
Exactly.
with a 5'4" attacker should not be able to score a header. He's not Joseph Martinez.
Yeah, and it's kind of embarrassing, maybe a lot of embarrassing, and just that back post of ours just constantly gets battered in a lot of matches, and yeah, I mean, this is maybe possibly a preventable type of goal where you stop that cross to begin with, but nonetheless they did well. They did well in scoring this goal, whether it was onside or offside. Well, intervention came through, and I think it maybe jarred Toronto a little bit, and we were maybe able to capitalize a little bit mentally in that. Okay, this was the wake-up call. We need to shore up. We need to make sure that we get this first goal instead. And yeah, I mean, in that first half stoppage time, a really great ball by Williams to find Almada, who a little wall pass, brilliant give and go by Rios with his left foot, able to deftly touch it in behind for Almada, who, this could be his last match for LA United, and we'll get into all of that later, but it just shows you what happens when you get him in the box, space in behind. Oh boy, I mean, he slots it away with aplomb, and it is a beautiful team goal. And if this is his last goal for LA United, what a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was playing like a man possessed. It was almost as if he knew, that he was, getting himself ready to work for that $9 million, extras clause of his perhaps potential contract coming through. So, he's getting ready to shore that up to see that we get even more money and maybe even break that transfer record, baby. He's gunning hard, and you could see it in that game. Like, his passing, his vision, it was all there again. It was all the Thiago that we had been clamoring for. The Thiago of the previous season that was, busting heads. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of, his wondrous free kicks, but the team goals are a mark of his play style, and I really, really enjoyed seeing it in his last, perhaps, appearance, and then one away to kind of cap it off.
Right. Goal number 6 in this season in 2024, and second straight match that he's appeared in that he has scored as well. Of course, he missed the last match with yellow card accumulation, and unfortunately, that second half started, like I mentioned, very dismally, where Bernardeschi was able to get one-on-one against Caleb Wiley, and the help didn't come fast enough on that right side for them, and just tore him up. Got in the box, low shot, just beat everybody, and so essentially beat 3 defenders and the keeper, of course, Goose. And it's 1-1, 46th minute, just like that. And it's not quite, I guess, necessarily where we score a goal and then we concede immediately, but
it is in terms of the game clock.
It is in that respect, but as far as mentality wise, I mean, we do need to come out of the half a lot stronger and know that they're going to try to get an early goal. And yeah, it's just kind of egregious. I would say that they were able to just slice through us that easily. It's just upsetting. But Valentino did mention that this was a difficult match, and their switches of play was something that they knew they were going to struggle with a little bit. And it's they said it's difficult, but no one thought it was going to be easy. But the second half goes on where it's pretty back and forth. I mean, it is a track meet at times, and fairly exciting to a degree, but just no composure, like we mentioned in front of goal. There's some late chances, lots of pretty much stoppage time as well. I mean, obviously getting into the 97th minute where this just completely inexplicable thing happens.
Magic happens.
Yes, but right before that, there was a header by Tiare that, he skied it over the bar, and it's like, man, like at that point, it seemed like the 1-1 was just, that was what was gonna be in the cards. Okay, another winless, thing at the Benz, and we were able to turn that around through just some complete sleuthing by Tiare. And a lot of people mentioned, okay, well, is this allowed? Can he hop off the pitch? He's grabbing water. It's completely allowed to grab water off the pitch. You don't need permission from
you can step out of bounds too, as a player.
Yeah, and but there are some things where you can't necessarily just be off the pitch for periods of time. That's but for something like this, last part of the match, you grab some water from the goalkeeper's water bottle, and he's just stalking the keeper. And in one way, you kind of feel bad for the keeper, but in another way, it just speaks to the volume of the Benz, and also, his teammates, where they didn't help him whatsoever. And if they did, they weren't screaming loud enough. And, it's definitely where it's just inexplicable. You don't really see it a ton, but yes, the keeper, unbeknownst to himself, he places the ball down, and Tiare pounces like a cat and is able to round the keeper and put it away pretty much near the edge of the box. And just pandemonium, absolute scenes. And he jumps over the railing, or not the railing, the boards, and celebrates with the fans. It's just insane. There's not too many instances, I would say, maybe recently in MLS, but this is just incredible. Just buffoonery by the keeper. And Tiare did mention that it's something that he tries every single game, but it doesn't come off. Well, finally. But you were watching this on TV. How did you even catch it initially, or did it just kind of catch you off guard? Yeah.
Of course it caught me off guard. I mean, no one expects that to happen. When you see him back there and you see him, he's breaking into a sprint to get to the goalie, you're like, what's happening? Oh, goodness. And then the rest is 3. But what I think is kind of funny is that MLS credited Tristan with an assist on this, at least on the broadcast, and I thought that was funny. I would have thought perhaps you'd give the water bottle an assist, or maybe the 17s themselves an assist, because they were allowed enough to stop any any of his teammates alerting him to the danger behind him. So that's who I would probably give the assist to. But I thought that was funny that they credited Mayumba. That was something, like we said on the stream, not something you see very often. This is something that you're probably not going to see again, maybe even in MLS. It's just super rare. So we got to witness history. It was exciting. again, we talked about how this is not replicable stuff, so this is likely should have been a 1-1 draw, which is kind of what I predicted on the last week's episode, but I did not expect a Jamal surprise party.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a surprise party indeed. Some people liken to some Pink Panther type stuff. Just basically, he did everything right in terms of, waiting his time, being quiet, didn't alert anybody. It was really well done. It's like it's like that cat, those cats you see on social media where it's like if you don't look at them, they're just there. They stop.
They sneak.
Exactly. And then when you're not looking, they just, they'll find some way to pounce on you. But incredible stuff. And it is like you're saying, not really repeatable. It is. I think the parts that maybe were repeatable are the chances that were created that never were finished off. But now without possibly Thiago Almada, you start to question that if the ability for us to be able to do that is going to be as possible. But as far as this match itself, pretty much up and down. It seems like it should have been a draw. Shots, ours 12 to their 15, which is still very low on our end. I do not like how few shots we take at the bends. But shots on targets, 5 to their 4. Corner kicks, 6 to 2. XG 3.2 for us to 1.6 for Toronto. And so it just speaks to
3.2.
Yeah. Well, according to the team, we'll see if that. Check SofaScore possibly. It's not always accurate.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
team website.
Right.
But either way, possession, us 49 to their 51. So we eschewed the possession that we normally, would have had with Gonzalo Pineda. But and then, so it's just one of these games where like we very much should have, I think, maybe dominated even more. But it is what it is here. Toronto really struggling. They had lost 3 coming in. Now they've lost 4. It's really tough luck for Toronto, I would say. But, thankfully we as well didn't concede a goal to Derek Etienne despite his best efforts. But
we almost did. We gave him an opportunity that was basically in on goal, and it was all on him to make us just feel like absolute trash. And he did what he normally does when he comes to Atlanta and skies it and misses his chance. So
exactly, yeah, he's been unfortunately that's his MO recently, and thankfully at least it was for this match as well. But so as well, Brooks Lennon, he made his 150th appearance in all competitions. He ranks 4th for the club behind Goose, Joseph, and Miles Robinson. And Bartosz Szlich, he also did come on in this match. I think he was able to keep things ticking for us a lot more so than the first half, where I think possession was a lot harder to come by for us. But once he was on the pitch, it felt like a little bit more metronomic, where he was able to spread things out pretty easily. But so Jamal Thiaré's goal, it was in the 97th minute, the 3rd latest game-winning goal in history, and the latest since April 23rd against the Chicago Fire. So and that was in the 98-10 time. But so definitely insane stuff. You have any kind of final thoughts on this match?
It was, never. I know some people who had started leaving the game, and then they were like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed that." So gotta keep watching for the whole game. You never know what's gonna happen.
You do, just like they say, play to the whistle. It is also, stay to the whistle, because if you missed it and you were in the stadium, that is a bummer. But But yeah, so that gets us into the news, and the Eastern Conference table looks like this, where Atlanta is in 9th. We, with the win, don't really jump Toronto, unfortunately. We still had some, kind of points to make up, essentially. But as far as game played as well, we do have a game in hand. So, yeah, we do match them with 24 points. We're above Montreal, above Orlando, but yeah, behind Charlotte and Nashville, and Miami and Cincy are still atop. But yeah, it does also. It looks like, yeah, as far as with better luck too, with our goal difference, we probably should be in a higher position, but no such luck at the moment. But yeah, as well, speaking of Montreal, Jose Martinez, he with a first half goal in his match, he has 108 career goals, tying Jason Kreis for the 8th most goals in MLS history. And yeah, next up on the all-time leaderboard is Ante Razov. So definitely will be cool to keep an eye on. Jose Martinez still scoring goals in this league. But yeah, congratulations to Jose Martinez. For the MLS All-Star Game, the 2024 MLS All-Star Game in Columbus. Unfortunately, no Atlanta United players will take part. I believe this is the first time that this is the case, and that is a bummer. Just yeah, it is every bit because of our form, and if Almada, or Yakumakis had been producing a little bit more, no doubts they would have been taking part in this, but no such dice. But next bit of news is LA United.
Well, does Yakumakis play for Liga MX?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, probably not. And also, he got injured.
And he's also injured. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it first game there or something?
Yeah. First game there, and yeah, he doesn't look happy. I wouldn't be either, obviously, but yeah, it is quite a bummer there. But yeah, next bit of news: Matt Lowry, he joins Rob Valentino's staff as an assistant coach. And he previously held the role of academy director from June 2021 to April 2024, and recently moved into this on-field role, serving as an individual development coach. So yeah, someone who's being promoted within the company, essentially, and within the club. So good on Lowry. But next bit is that LA United, if they advance out of the group stages in Leagues Cup, they can host, in the round of 32, a match at Bobby Dodd Stadium. And that would be incredible. Obviously, we have not been there since 2017. Apparently, according to some people, it's not looking. It's looking a little worse for wear, possibly. But that's not something that money can't solve, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately. So it is gonna be pretty interesting to go down nostalgia lane for sure, especially if the tailgate is gonna be directly across from or next to the varsity again. That will be quite interesting. And also, where people are going to park, man. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. It was tough then. Now, I imagine in even busier parts of, that part of town in near Georgia Tech. Ooh, but either way, I mean, what are your feelings hearing this news?
I mean, I enjoyed the times I went to Bobby Dodd Stadium for those games. They were fun. I wouldn't mind doing that for a Leagues Cup game. It's a big if we make it out of the group stage, so don't count your chickens quite yet. It's a possibility. I mean, and we're kind of doing a little bit better now. If we get some reinforcements that are perhaps some heavy hitters, we could have a shot at getting through. So there's a chance we might go back to Bobby Dodd, and that would be a lot of fun.
It would. And it's going to be open air. It's going to be, I think when it's going to be, it's probably about August, if it were. It's the throes of a very hot summer, which if you're living in Atlanta or Georgia at the moment, whoo boy. Yeah, that is going to be that. There's a reason why we moved into a dome in Atlanta, in Georgia, because, yep, if you don't like sweating, this ain't the game that you should go to. but anyway, so yeah, on to the transfer rumors this week, and boy, are they aplenty in a sense of, well, a lot for Thiago Almada. We'll get to that, but also Caleb Wiley, which on Saturday, a lot of chatter about him from L'Équipe, possibly moving to French side RC Strasbourg. RC Strasbourg are also owned by Blueco, who also own Chelsea. And, yeah, I don't think Chelsea need too much explanation of who they are. But, yeah, as far as what Chelsea does, usually they have a loan army, and they usually just have a bunch of players that they sign, they loan out to kind of other clubs in either first divisions or second divisions, and they, if they play well, they will bring them into the squad like loans are, but if usually not, they will sell them on for a fee. And I have a feeling, though, I don't know, like, if this were the case, Wiley, for me, moving to Chelsea, it's a big name move, but whether it's actually good for Wiley is a whole nother story. I feel like, as I mentioned on the stream, there's some things where, it's development-wise, it's very important for him to, know what he needs to work on to get to a first team. And if you want to play for Chelsea, right now it's a little bit up in the air how they want to play. They've had 24 coaches in pretty much 24 years. And as far as, what he should be doing to stay at the top level, that's where, loans, I'm not really sure is super duper helpful for his development. I feel like maybe another side that, he can basically be kind of assured a little bit more first team minutes, but also that he still has to earn it, I think is a little bit better for him. But what are your thoughts?
I don't know, because I was happy for George Bello when he went to Europe with his with his prospects over there, and it went from not going so hot to a little bit better now, but it's been a rough ride for him. Caleb Wiley could absolutely see similar things play out, and I just don't know. He could show out if Strasbourg has they need him to play a certain way, and he excels at that, and he does really well. He could absolutely use that as a jumping off point to go somewhere else, and probably not to Chelsea, because like you said, they're in flux and don't know what they want. So perhaps they just looking at this as a piece to sell on, something that they'll factor into their future plans. And if that's the case, he could see himself in a decent club that actually needs him in the position he needs to be at, and it really just depends on him doing well on this loan stint at Strasbourg, depending on what they need him to do. If he excels, it'll be amazing. If not, he could likely kind of tread water like Bello did in Europe for a little bit, and then maybe hopefully come up for air at some point and make a career out of it and have a relatively successful time there. But it could go either way, and it's like you said, it's a bit of a crapshoot, and it's nervy. You'd prefer a guy like this who's worked so hard for us, done so much, that he'd have something more guaranteed and more solid. But sometimes when you're trying to get into the best leagues and the best soccer in the world, you kind of have, when you're not just like a super god, like you kind of just have to, take the grenades in the trenches for a while, and hopefully you survive.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. I concur with that. The FC or RC Strasbourg head coach right now is Patrick Vieira, Arsenal legend, and a pretty good coach in his own right. Of course, has coached for NYCFC, Crystal Palace as well. Yeah, I mean, not a bad coach to learn from at all by any means, but it's just a matter of, will he get the minutes? Will he, be able to develop into the player that we know he can possibly be? But, obviously, the best case scenarios of, possibly American fullbacks, of course, you got Davies. We also have Anthony Robinson. Those type of moves are probably the best case scenario. And if not, yeah, bouncing around, hopefully not getting relegated. That's the main goal probably, is to be able to stick with a side in Europe. So I think it's a little early yet. I think he's got some things that he can shore up here before he does make a move, since he is only 19. But I think also, yeah, if we can get a good dollar amount too, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of reinvestment into the squad if it were anyway. But yeah, so next bit of transfer news is Thiago Almada pretty much getting a here we go from Fabrizio Romano. And yeah, the medical is apparently done. Yeah, he's about to move to Eagle Football Group. Well, Michael, check the social medias to see if it's not happening right now, while we're talking about it. But yeah, it's apparently 21 million plus 9 million in add-ons. The move would see him play for Botafogo, the Brazilian side, for 6 months before joining Olympique Lyon in January. And yeah, it's basically just probably missing some, dotted I's and crossing T's, even though there are no I's or T's in. Well, okay, there are some, T's and I's in Thiago. There we go. But but yeah. So if this is the case, Almada would be the third most expensive outgoing transfer in MLS history. After, of course, Miguel Almiron at 27 million, and Alphonso Davies, of course, we had talked about at 22 million. That also included add-ons. So, yeah, I mean, Almada, we kind of pontificated last week a little bit in the mailbag, his placing in LA United history, but this move itself, for this dollar amount, for the add-ons. How do you feel about this move?
I think it's solid. I mean, he's going to do this stint at Botafogo and then, go over to Lyon most likely. That sounds fine to me. That's fine for him. We get a serious bag out of this. That's awesome. And I mean, those add-ons could potentially put his, ultimate transfer fee at a league record. So that's exciting. Also, considering our last, the guy who's currently in first is also our guy. So we continue to make waves in that'll be really cool. I think, as long as he's cool with doing it this way, and we can kind of also still maintain the argument that, we haven't closed off the South American pipeline completely. I think it's going to be slowed down. But it's still there. It's still, there's a layover, but it's not a direct flight, but you get there. And so, I think that says something that if you want to keep scouting South America, which I think you should always still remain doing, people will still find that attractive in our club. And if Thiago's cool with it, then I'm cool with it. We had to move on from him. It's tough. He's an amazing player, but I just think we had to move on at this point. He was brought in to move on from. It was always going to be this way. It's probably lasted longer than everyone expected as well. So it is what it is. It finally, hens came to roost, and so that's the end of the saga for hopefully soon. I mean, yeah, it's like keep looking at social media. It could be any time now. So
yeah, indeed. And it is this. It's I think fans are, and rightfully, probably a little bit sick, maybe frustrated with this type of kind of transfers that we bring in. with players that are already, sights are elsewhere before they even move in. And, I think it's this. The next move does have to be, I think, as far as the next DP, a player that will stay with the club for a while, because there's a lot of casual fans that's, this was maybe the last straw for them. And I understand from their standpoint. But it is, until the next, player comes in and maybe balls out, it might kind of reignite some passion within the fan base. But obviously the people that are the fervent fans, the diehards, are always still going to support the club in that sense. But it is part of this where the team has to be pretty cognizant of what's going on here, and that this next move should not be someone of the same ilk. So, but it should be probably aiming for kind of, and this is tall order, obviously, but if you can get, just like 80% of a player like a Diego Valeri, those type of players that stay on your team for a long time and really produce in the league, I think that's that type of move that we should be trying to go for, is someone that can really help the club for a very long time. But so moving on from that, LA United has announced a new signing. Free agent Portuguese defender Pedro Amador, rather. I'll say that again. Free agent Portuguese defender Pedro Amador. But he's been signed through the 2026 MLS season with an option for the 2027 season. He played for Moreirense of Portugal's Primeira Liga, and he'll occupy an international spot pending the receipt of his visa. And then he won't be able to play until the new transfer window opens on July 18th. So, Carlos Bocanegra, he mentions, we're excited to bring Pedro in as he will bring leadership and experience to our back line as we continue to strengthen our roster this summer. At 25 years old, he's coming at a good age from a strong league in Europe, and we like his experience of playing more than 100 matches in Portugal, including captaining his team in various matches last season. We look forward to welcoming him to Atlanta and having him in our to join our group. He has 114 professional appearances in Portugal's first and second divisions with Moreirense and SC Braga, and recorded a total of 2 goals and 9 assists across all competitions. So not a screaming goal and assist return, but definitely a player that started his youth at Sporting CP, one of the biggest sides in Portugal, and bounced around a little bit. But
Ronaldo's first club, right?
Ronaldo's first club, indeed. And as far as the type of player as well, he is a player that definitely likes to cross. Pretty good at kind of passing where maybe there is a final ball, or at least the pre-assist, like we like to count for. As well, a player that does take some set pieces, so definitely good technically. Aerially, not that great, unfortunately, but definitely at 25 years old, possibly not only a player that could replace Caleb Wiley, but in the meantime as well, very much could spell until Wiley is moved on. So it's something that we needed. Some competition for places as well. I think Wiley will definitely look to improve with that in place. But thoughts on Amador finally being official?
I've been calling for left back support for a while now, and with potential rumors of Caleb moving on, this is something we needed. We're probably going to need another one then if Caleb leaves, so might go back to the well again after that. But right now, having at least 2 is good, and veteran experience is good. This guy does not light it up, as you said. The last 4 years, I think he's had 0 goals and 1 assist or something along these lines. So, like, he's not exactly an offensive piece. Then again, I don't know how he's played at his previous club. It's very possible that they don't use their, fullbacks in an attacking capacity, really, strictly defensively only. So that could be the case. But so when he's here, he can flex some more offensive muscles. So we'll see if that's possible, because I know we do like to play that way, at least currently how things are. We play with our fullbacks fairly offensively and expecting them to come up with some, offensive opportunities for us, creating chances, putting balls in. And unfortunately, and this is something that has been a big criticism of the club, is that our fullbacks haven't been doing that much as of late. And no goal scoring threat, no real assist coming in outside of last game, which, like I said earlier, they had some stuff going on, which was nice to see. But, that hasn't been the norm. So I don't know if this guy's going to really add to that. Maybe even, be less than. Who knows? But hopefully, we give him a shot and he can elevate our left fullback area by, with his experience with Caleb. Or just with his play by himself, maybe to see out games or what have you. I'm excited to see what he can do, because I haven't seen any clips of him yet. We need to look at some tape, so that needs to circle up around a little bit on the internet. Everyone get on that. So when I check Twitter, that'll be what I see. And yeah, so it's a kind of a prayer answered in a way. I don't know if it's exactly how I wanted it answered, but then again, this guy's making, I think, like $70,000 in his current position. So it's not a lot of money, and this guy's not going to hit very heavily on the cap. So, I mean, if it doesn't work out, like, we move on in 2026, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, I think it's a pretty, decent signing, and it's not going to really light the league on fire or get anyone super excited, so don't expect that, but hopefully he's enough to get the job done.
Right. It's probably a shrewd buy low move, and possibly, kind of profit from it, in the sense of, if he gives you semblance of capability, of competency, then, yeah, it's a net win, because I think it's also this. Players that have this, leadership quality, I think that is something that we need to bring in abundance. So, players that have been previous captains at their clubs, more of these type of Dax McCartys, where, you have that experience in leading out your squad, in, being a professional. I think the more of that is always a good thing. So I look at that as something that could be a really good positive for Atlanta United. Whether he's a player that, yes, will be part of the championship side for Atlanta United, that's going to remain.
That's a question you got to ask yourself whenever you see a new signing come in. Is this guy going to be, potentially a championship player for us? Because that's what I want. If I get someone in, that's what I want. That's an assumption I have. Why else would I get that guy in then, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not making the right move if I don't already think this guy has that potential. So I hope they see it, and so I hope it really is there.
Yeah, because it's this. I think I've mentioned it a good number of times, is that we need to raise our floor, and signings, we need to make sure that that absolutely the competition for places is legit and real, and whomever doesn't start, well, that they're still good enough to start in this league. I think that's where it's the possibility of improving ourselves. Whether we can actually do that in this MLS structure, that's obviously a different thing too, but I feel like, some shrewd moves can be made. So, it's not completely outside of the realm of possibility. But, last bit of news. LA 2, they fell to Inter Miami 4-1 on Sunday evening. And, French forward Karim Tamimi claimed his 5th goal of the season for LA 2. And 16-year-old academy product Jonathan Ransom made his professional debut in the starting 11. So congrats to Ransom. But yeah, we will move on to the match preview. And Wednesday, 7:45 p.m. versus the New England Revolution at Gillette Stadium. Right now, the Revolution are in 14th. They're doing poorly, but they have been doing a little bit better recently in at least the past couple games, maybe past month. Beating some sides, but yeah, our previous match against them, we beat them 4-1 in March, of course, and the all-time reads decently for us. New England have 4 wins, 4 draws. LA United have 6 wins, but our last 6, that's really where, it is the troubling part, and hopefully we can still, kind of get that same kind of result that we had earlier in the season. But the last 6, they've won 3, drawn 2, and we've only won 1. So we definitely were going against the tide there. But there's still a side that has Carl's heel, a big weapon for them. Big kind of players have moved on from them this past offseason in Gustavo Bo, Omar Gonzalez. But the new signings haven't really kind of moved them over the top. And yeah, Caleb Porter, a really great coach in this league, but yeah, this season it's been extremely hit or miss. More on the miss, clearly. But I mean, it's a side that should be had. The problem is this a trap game for us to a degree? I mean, are we trap game for some teams too? I guess we are. So it's
starting to be.
Yeah. So it's a tough thing. I mean, it's basically a mediocre off at the moment, and we against this side, they should be doing a lot better. So it's not a side that we should be taking lightly by any means. Most pundits had them as low as 11th, but mostly around 6th. A more majority of the pundits had them finishing in a playoff spot. So, it's definitely gonna be interesting, this match, because they're a team that's defending not that great. They can be had, especially on counterattacks, which if we can really create some of those chances on the fast break, we need to absolutely do that. But they're also a team that plays to our Achilles a little bit with creating long shot opportunities. And yeah, if Guzan is playing, well, yeah, the book is to shoot at him from distance. So it is definitely going to be something. But it is also, don't let them score, because if they score first, they're pretty good at protecting their leads. So, but some match facts for this game. There have been over 2.5 goals scored in the Revolution's last 3 games. So, is that going to play out the same? I mean, 2.5 goals, that's about 3 goals, I would say, on average. And I think there's going to be more than that, even with possibly without Thiago Almada. Because who knows? I don't know when he's going to be announced. It could be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be right before the match. But I have a feeling it was his last match. Do you feel like he will play?
Doug did tweet that he is unavailable for the New England game.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it is the unavailability, I think, speaks volumes pretty much. That, it's going to be a thing where we're going to be without our best player again. And, essentially one DP.
Our 3 best players, basically.
Yeah, probably. I guess, well, yeah, I mean, if you count Stian Gregerson as maybe one of our DPs, then, I guess we have one if he starts. Saba obviously is the one that,
I don't really, but yeah.
Yes, it did. Attacking wise, yes, for sure our three best attackers are was with Yakumakis. But yeah, so as far as the players that are unavailable, Luis Abram, Saba, Almada, and Edwin Mosquera. So, not a big list like it has been previously, but it will be very interesting, I think, who actually starts, because there is... it's a good question. I mean, the midfield could literally be anybody. The back line, I think, pretty much is solidified now, probably, but let's get through it. Let's go through the lines. So, in between the six, Goose. I think that part is fairly obvious at the moment. You're not really seeing a whole lot of people clamoring for Josh Cohen anymore. I don't know. Maybe it was the distribution a little bit. I mean, it is. I think he does still have some work to usurp Goose. But yeah, what were you about to say?
Yeah, I think it's just because, Goose hasn't really done anything wrong. Like, there isn't really, he's not like having his, kind of the gaffes and the goofs that he had last season. That felt like, we need a new keeper. But like, yeah, he's been pretty solid. I don't really feel unnerved by not having him start. Cohen was fine. Cohen is a good goalie. I would be all right with it. But I mean, I know we talked about how I think my prediction was by the midway of the season, Cohen would probably be getting a lion's share of things, but it hasn't happened. And it's a little worrying if, he's just over with the twos and he's supposed to be the heir apparent. But, maybe he's just not quite ready yet, and by next season we'll really see him take off. So, yeah, hopefully that's what happens.
Yeah. But, if he's not it, then he's not it. It's okay. But, I don't think we spent a massive amount to get him in or anything like that. But, so I suspect it's probably going to be a three-man back line again with the wingbacks being Lennon and Wiley. Do you think any differently?
No, Rob seems to really go for that, and it's been giving us success, so why not?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely provided a lot more players that are back, and that needs to stay that way, because it provides that stability that we don't get sliced open easily. But Gregerson, Williams, Cobb probably again as the center backs. Gregerson came off early, didn't really seem like it was a serious injury, and pretty much was told after the match that it's just a minutes management thing. So I have him back in. You have any differently?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, he's got to be. Yeah, he's got to be there.
Yeah. And in the midfield, I mean, this is really where it's going to be the biggest question. I mean, it could literally be any of the midfielders, besides Almada, of course. But who do you have as the possible midfield 2, maybe 3? What do you think?
I think it'll probably be Sleesh and Mayumba again. But I don't, back to that duo. But I don't think that they will be in there the whole game. I mean, to the coach's credit, they have been switching them out quite a bit, even before he went to the Euros. That's because so much confidence rests on Dax and Fortune, because they've been very good in their when they've been called upon, and it's been a decent luxury that we've had with these guys. I'm very, like you said, it could be either one of them taking any of these spots, and that's great. You love to have that, excess of riches in the midfield, which I feel like we've been, thinking of the Ibarra and Josetu days and the Sosa days. It's like, this is just completely different. It's just completely different, man.
Yeah, it is. I do wish for more goals and assists from any of the pairings, but as far as a defensive standpoint and a recycling the ball, keeping possession, or at least Are you in the same camp as me and Henry Higuita? Every time there's a rebuild discussion coming up, it's always me and him are the first to say DP number 8. Exactly.
Number 8.
And yeah, it needs to be, but that would be interesting because Muyumba is probably our number 8, where I mean he would probably see less playing time. So, I'm all for better players and the best players that we can bring in. So, but as far as this lineup goes, I agree. I think it's Schleich, Muyumba, but also Fortune, and we won't have as many possibly attackers, even though. Yeah, one of the players that unfortunately has been missing out is possibly Luke Brennan. But maybe not trusted fully for an entire match quite yet. Kind of that energy piece off the bench per se. But well, who do you have?
Smart.
Yeah, it is. Who do you have as the either attacker or striker?
Striker, I think, is going to be Daniel Rio. I mean, Jamal scored though, so put him in there. Give him the start. He scored. Daniel hasn't scored yet, so I'll go with Jamal as the striker of this game. I mean, and I feel like Sandé's getting close to scoring again. What is it, like every other game he has a goal? It seems
Pretty
like
much.
so.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the game. So put him in there as well. We'll see.
Yeah, and you have one more player. You only have 10 players.
Who do I want to put there? I always struggle with this position for some reason.
Because it's pretty much a free roll or maybe a third
Yeah.
central midfielder. So it's definitely not easy to pontificate what Valentino's going to do. But
Yeah,
it could be
but,
another attacker. I don't know.
it could be. Yeah, I mean, if you're, I don't know, but I would like to see Nick Firmino get involved somehow. So
Yeah. So yeah, and that's really
Let's go
maybe
with that.
somewhere else. He could be one of the 3 attackers. Up top. So maybe it is a 3-4-3, possibly. But I think it's more with Schleich, Muyumba, and Fortune. We've been a little bit more where we have attackers kind of just free roaming and not as many. I think we're prioritizing shoring up the middle and defensively,
Yeah.
and then just breaking. And I think Fortune is another one of those players that can give you legs, can give you some energy, so and some defensive stability. So I think
he
that's
thumbs up the midfield.
exactly. And so it could be Firmino, but I think it's Fortune in this one. And then Silva as the other attacker, and Rios, he got the assists. He has been chosen ahead of TRA recently. I think it's because of his hold-up play. I think it's because of his, maybe a little less running like a chicken with his head cut off a little bit. But either way, I feel like I agree with you that TRA is going to start because of the goal. You kind of want to go with a hot hand, and even though Rios was able to assist, striker's position is to score. So okay, I'm for it for the weekday match. TRA didn't play the majority of the match on Saturday, so it makes sense. So I think Silva and TRA up top as the 2 attackers. So that gets us to the score prediction then. What do you think?
I want to say 1-0. I don't think.
1-0
No,
us.
I want to
No?
hope. Yes, 1-0 us. I would be surprised if. I'm kind of thinking. I know that they've been scoring a little bit, but I want to have a stout defensive game that we get a clean sheet, and I really, and if you're gonna get it against a team, I think it might be against this team. So
Ooh,
I'm
on the
gonna
road even.
hope
Okay.
for that. Yeah, I'm gonna hope for a 1-0, and I hope we just smash and grab against the worst team perhaps in the league right now. So I'm hoping for that.
Well, there are some other teams that have a say in that. So it's I wouldn't say they are outright the worst team. Chicago still exists, and DC somehow are in that conversation. But and then anytime you have San Jose Earthquakes in the league, it's they continually just astound with how poor they are. But I think it's probably going to be a 2-2 draw. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I think, on the road, especially against this side that concedes a lot of goals, I just don't see how the Revolution can keep us out. But also, we still are susceptible in some degrees as well. I think it's, on the road, at least the result. So we'll take it. I would take Michael's result all day. The clean sheet will build some confidence. So if that is the case, that would be incredible. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. But guys, that is almost the entire episode except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, which DP, striker, or attacking midfielder should we bring in first? Let us know in the comments below what you think. Looking forward to what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode there and there. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. For Michael, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.